I never had a formal introduction or a departure because I didn't come into the YouTube platform for that. I just hopped in as a thought, spoke it, uploaded it, and it was sent off into the airways. How was I supposed to know that it was actually going to go somewhere? I truly didn't know. There's a new church, and it's like it's just more of a realistic kind of a church that you'd think of. You don't actually meet anywhere inside of a building or anything. And I don't even know if you ever even have to meet each other in real life. But there's a church that if you did meet in real life, that would be a plus. That would be pretty cool. But if you didn't, would you stay in the church? Would you keep tuning in as long as the church is on the air? As long as the head of the church decides to stay in that church. Oh man, door dashers it's amazing how the double meaning of everything. You're gonna go door dashing. Oh, I can see, I know how that works. You dash at people's doors. Oh, Robin see the problem with Robin. Here's your problem, Robin. You think you know people that actually can do something that makes a difference in this world, like the planet itself. You think your church includes those members? Right. There's the god of the weather. I got his attention already. Sky opening and closing 2017 before YouTube purposely sent away the recommendations and unscribed my subscribers so they wouldn't watch my videos, but now they're getting restored because that's how it was supposed to be in the first place. But it's nice to see a few more people watching. At first I thought, what are these new subscribers? And then I also realized, well, no, wait a minute, maybe the AI algorithm is putting me in their favor. Oh, look at this one. How convenient. Oh man, the roadblock. So you're telling me that's for me, just straight for me. Because why? What do you get out of it? Laughter? Is there really anything happening in between here and there? That's why I love push and record sometimes, and just this is live feed. I always go this way, and this is the first time that it's shut down. You know, things do happen. There is tape wrapped around the pole, so somebody could have hurried up and did that and made it look like something. Or, you know, it's really an event that took place. (532-5T2). So I never took this way before. I'll see if my sense of direction will get me home. If I get lost, so what? Maybe I'll follow these people here. They seem like they know what they're doing. Nah, maybe not, because you know what? They might be going in the wrong direction. I like streets that are more wide open. That way you can judge the lanes. So this is part of it. This is part of, oh man, I'm effing traffic here. I'm gonna hurry to get home. And it's all because of the, you know, here, let me tell it here. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry that you guys are stuck in traffic just because I'm driving along. Yeah, sure, Robin. The world revolves around you. I didn't ask it to. I'm just showing you that it does. See, I was fooled by actors. That's what the problem is. I was fooled by really good actors, actresses. And I just wanted to believe people. Who doesn't want to believe the truth? I mean, why would you not want to know it and hear it? So I said this before. Well, what I would give to be sitting in a traffic jam in your brand new truck than to be sitting in jail for stealing stuff and being stupid. What I would give, well, I would give nothing. Just I had to get out when my time there was up. It was time to leave. So it's not like I was giving anything up to get that. I just had to, well, basically, yeah, I mean, I gave up my time. Boy, I would give up my time in order to really appreciate when I'm sitting in a traffic jam. Not only because it's just a traffic jam, but because it's purposely done. What I would give to do that. See how far this rabbit hole goes. So I see the action starting from a distance. I see the movement, and then it just goes. But these are just regular people. Now look at the horses. These are just regular people in the world that I thought. That's what I need. I need some horses. I need a bigger yard. I need a little bit of help. If anybody knows people that are willing to give those things, I'd be glad to receive them. Everyday life. People were told to live out the rest of their lives as exiles. So it's a lifelong deal. Some people are going to take these secrets to the grave with them. Like about having that app, being part of the organization, just being part of the world. Just being your enemy, basically. It's either the app gets taken away, I guess what I'm doing is I'm looking for a new place to live. I like this neighborhood. I never thought I'd look at it, but I guess when you get sidetracked, you start seeing different places. So I think what I did was I actually made the shortcut. You see that line right there? That was the traffic that I just beat. So they're all waiting there. But I'm still in the thick of this. Sir, you have one tail light out. Do you not get, do the police officers not tell you that? Steve, is that just a problem in the world with these Jeeps, like a recall. So I wonder where I'm going. I feel like I'm being led in a direction that I really didn't want to go. But you want to start predicting mountains being split in two, Robin? Alright, well, I see where my career is going. I am the king of stall. SJD is the stall king. He can have him stall like no other. But I don't think you're the only one, Steve. I think there's, you know, you're like the king of a certain thing. There's the king of, so there's the king of the weather. He runs the actual sky, the images. When it rains, when it snows, the heat, the temperature, high, low, cold. There's a God that runs that. So it wasn't a bad detour. It was actually a good one. It seemed like it was almost, it would have been faster if there wasn't traffic. Live life. Push record and just record it. Put it public. Why, Lord? Why, Father? Why, God? Why did you tell me to push record? I talked to the airwaves, and I'm just talking to myself. No, son, you're going to be talking to my other sons. Okay, Father. So the other sons that God was getting their attention, they happen to have a high ranking in places in the world. And one of them is the God of the air, the weather. Then there's the God of there's the principality of the air, the one that runs the air waves, which is the internet, social media, that one person on YouTube that has a YouTube channel. So nobody ever drives up and down there because that's only for running only. It even says it's the forbidden lane. But they don't listen. Their app told them to do that. They're not lost. They're not confused. They're perfectly executed actors. And they're in my life. Probably even closer than I've ever thought. But it teaches you, you know, how to just deal with life changes. Things you thought were true and then they're not, and then truth you find out about things. But you want me to record this, Lord, and make it public? Don't you know that's like writing in a journal? Isn't a journal supposed to be for your own privacy? So why am I writing a journal and making it public? Well, because, son, you know that they're watching you 24/7 now. And you're behaving a little bit better than you were before, because now that you know, it just changes things, doesn't it? In a sense, it does, Father. My dad. So anyway, a long time ago, he told me to push record. I heard God tell me, I'm not going to say the Lord, because that's like a mockery. because I say that jokingly sometimes. It's the sarcasm I got to get out from me before Jezebel kills me. But I can't help it though. It's all a script. What do you want me to do? Act scared? I'm not a good actor. I can just perform. You know, you hired a bunch of people to act, and boy are they ever. But I did it for free, and I'm just performing what I've been given to try to deceive people. I'm trying to deceive. I'm going to deceive those that don't believe. Freaking Robin. Robin thinks he knows people that run this planet. He thinks he knows the God of the weather. He thinks he knows the God of the earth. He thinks he came across some freaking lunatic, homeless guy almost, barely can afford to pay his electric. He says he's Jesus or King David. He thinks that he's actually something on the earth. I mean, he's been wasting his time with him for more than 2 years. Didn't you hear he was sick? And what, you stayed with him another 2 years? I mean, you couldn't tell SJD was sick 4 years ago? It's been a long time. I can only imagine if he was actually raised up like Lazarus was. Wouldn't that be frightening for... Yeah, right. God of the earth. Then there's the God of heaven. So the person that represents heaven, Robin thinks he knows him too and has his YouTube channel. He thinks he's subscribed to him. Freaking man, that dude is delusional. And the angel of the bottomless pit. Everybody that's playing that exact role beforehand, because there's one God, the one that is the God of heaven in the literal physical form, and then there's the God of the earth. That would be King David would be the guy, and Christ would come from his lineage, which would be the Spirit of Christ comes from his lineage, like the beginning of it, the very beginning, the starting point. And he will have the ability, I'm sure, to be a mighty hunter, a mighty military commander. And he can command anybody to go and do that and do this and stalk Robin and harass him and block traffic and just stall him, because I can do that and I'm king. Okay, you believe me or not, I'm telling you the truth. Ain't that going to be something if SJD winds up telling that, like, everything he said was actually true? Well, and then I'm the last one to find out. Nah, I think there's more people that would be surprised. You just probably couldn't take him that serious because somebody like me was clowning on him, poking fun at the king, and I didn't even truly believe he was anything. At first, I believed his tale. You know, a third part, that's exactly what he did. He drew them down with his tales. Tales from the crypt. Lying tales. The first time he said a lie about me, that's the end of it. I knew he was a liar from the beginning. And the father of it. You guys worship SJD, don't you? And I'm clowning on him. But in all good fun. Especially now that the mountain's going to be torn in two. Like literally, Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore is going to be torn in two by a mighty fiery light coming from the heavens above. If I want to be broad about the prediction of it and not exactly direct, I can say, well, it makes more sense for it to happen on the Sabbath and this Sabbath coming up, wouldn't that be the 15th? And wouldn't that be like 3.5 days later after 7/11? But truly, the other 7/11 coming up is really 9/11, but it's really 7/11. So then Trump, when he said he was there at 7/11, he really meant he was there on 9/11, 2022 at 7/11, watching destruction on Broad Street in Philly on the second 9/11, 21 years later. That's the 7/11 you're talking about, the one that's connected to the act, because 7 means September and October with 10 or whatever it is, but the 7 and the 9, November, but it's really September, 7/11, 9/11, whatever the case is. "21 years later, with all those bombings that are printed on the U.S. currency, the future bombings, the previous bombings, I mean, whoever drew the artwork on that money and whoever accepted the artwork and printed it, well, don't you think they would be the ones that built the buildings and set it up to be destroyed at an exact time, on an exact day, the day that they built it? It doesn't matter how many years later. You think that they would actually think things through that far? And anybody could possibly figure that out who wouldn't be someone from the inside. Well, Mount Rushmore, again, Robin, you know, I'm just going to talk a lot of shit about Robin today because he thinks these things that are so ridiculous, and it's like you live in La La Looney Land, so it's going to crush a lot of us when it happens, Robin, and we just want to get the last shit talks in about you that we can, because it's going to hurt like your gut punch. It's going to hurt like that. So Robin, you think just because Abe Shinzo, who got assassinated, Japan's longest running prime minister, you think that news that he is dead, assassinated, on somewhere around July, right after the Georgia Guidestones were destroyed, you think Abe, who was assassinated, has anything to do with Abraham Lincoln on Mount Rushmore, along with George Washington right across from him? You think that that's connected with the reasonings of why Abraham Shinzo got assassinated and Abraham Lincoln was assassinated back in the day? And because Joe Biden is going over to those countries to strengthen the Abrahamic Accords all at the same time, you think just because 4 Georgia Guidestones got knocked down that Mount Rushmore, you think just because of that reasoning Mount Rushmore is going to get split in 2, and you're going to show people where it's going to happen before it takes place in order for you to take part in being the first one to show anybody it was going to happen and recognize that God is real, and you can start leading them to the Lord? Is that what you're trying to tell us, Robin? Huh? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I couldn't have said it any better. Well, it's absolutely ridiculous, and you sound stupid. I know. But it's true, and it'll happen, so just because Joe Biden's going this weekend coming up to strengthen the Abrahamic Accords over in the countries that he goes and does that to, and right after the Georgia Guidestones were destroyed, all 4 of those stones that will not be left one upon another, all 4 of those are connected to Mount Rushmore, who has 4 other presidents who are there. But see, these aren't good men, Robin, because there's a camel next to them, and it just proves that they're rich. Yeah, but their hearts change, so they need to be wounded. This is part of the script. Lightning fire bolts from heaven need to come down and strike Mount Rushmore this Saturday, the 15th of July, 2022. In 2 days. Yeah, in 2 days. At around 12 noon would be good, because that would fit in with Elijah's 12 noon prayer to God, praying that it comes true, praying that would be the date, because it's a Sabbath and it's not Sunday. Is that what you're saying, Jacob? It's not. So you got to do it a Sabbath? All right, well, I'll go with the 15th of July. Because it's still 3.5 days after 7/11. If they made some kind of deal, say, if they made a midnight deal on 7/11, you got 7/9 at midnight, 7/10 at midnight. 7/12 at midnight, 7/13 at midnight, 7/14 at midnight, and then 7/15 at noon would be 3.5 days later. That would be breathing life back into the witnesses, the 2 witnesses. After 3.5 days of a party, are people partying it up right now? Because sudden destruction happens when Joe Biden starts talking about peace and safety. By the way, that he's going over there strengthening the Abrahamic Accords. It's like the missing link, right, Jacob? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like Abe Shinzo got assassinated, just like Abraham Lincoln. And it's also like Barack Obama coming to the link, and that Petco 2 video, there seems to be these jet fighters flying over, dropping like 5 bombs on this football stadium that's looking at gold in front of it, like Chase Bank, 17 JFK, and it's looking at the Comcast building where it looks like the windows of heaven are open. So it's overlooking that, and statues are falling apart, like the Statue of Liberty, her arms falling. So that's representing God's judgment is going to come down from the heavens. There's going to be strikes of lightning, fire, meteorites. You pick one. Asteroids, fallen stars from heaven. You can pick about 7 different names of what's going to fall from the sky, what you're going to see. But remember, blue beam technology, Bose speakers, it's a real thing. But whatever, I'll take it, because it's a way to truly just get people's attention. Like, listen up. That's it. I'm striking Abraham Lincoln right in his freaking head this Saturday. I'm doing it at 12 noon. I'm fed up. July 15th, 2022. Come on, Lord, and make it happen. Just split the mountain right in 2, Mount Rushmore, because it'll be a divided. There will be war in heaven. Michael and his angels will be fighting. Truly, at that time, that when that mountain splits in 2, when those 2 parties split, there's war in heaven. It's like tearing the veil. So what better way to do it than destroying a monument, an idol of Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Teddy Roosevelt, and Thomas Jefferson. So you got Doubting Thomas. You have George Washington, who has the dead sheep behind his ear, like Kleck does. And you have Abraham Lincoln. It's going to blow his mind when you hear what's coming up next. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. Abraham can you believe he sacrificed his son? I mean, I'm all for sacrificing children to the Lord, of course. Abraham, you were willing to let your son Isaac die? I mean, you knew that you guys were coming back, right? So when you were sacrificing him, what are you talking about? Like a sacrifice where he's going to get sliced and diced with a knife? Or you feeding him up as like sacrificing him as some kind of food? Like the bread of life? You sacrificing that? Are you giving him up? Are you raising him up on the altar for the sacrifice? I mean, what kind of father are you to allow the world to see your son as you're sacrificing him to God because he told you to do so? I don't know, the parents these days, they sure have a weird way of showing you that they love you. Don't they? Well, it's all for your interpretation, actually. That's all up for your interpretation. Georgia Guidestones, they were destroyed. There was 4 headstones. Mount Rushmore, which happens to be in South Dakota, by the way, that there was a green sky lit up. You know what happens after that, don't you? From the sky, things start dropping and falling. You're going to start seeing them. And Mount Rushmore just happens to be in South Dakota. Those people in those 7 church heads seem to all talk about the same thing. It's related somehow, one or another. It's amazing. There's 7 and of the 8th, which is of the 8th. It's the 7th and of the 8th. George Washington Monument, 5:55 a.m., 555 feet. Liberty 2, 848 feet tall. Barack Obama said, "Be still, know that I am God," at 8:48 a.m.